Have you ever looked into the mirror and seen only a reflection you did not recognize? Not as a stranger, but as a complete unknown. One whose face seems familiar, yet whose soul screams in silence a truth you refuse to hear. The self you carry, with its fragile certainties and empty titles, is nothing more than a mask hanging on the walls of a ruined theater. And still, you walk through this world as if each step were your own choice, as if each thought were genuine, as if each desire came from within and was not merely an echo of voices that once told you who you should be. But who are you when the lights go out and no one is watching? The identity you so fiercely defend is nothing but a story forcefully told, written by hands that were not your own. Every repressed trauma, every wound poorly healed, every harsh word or conditional love shaped this creature now dwelling inside your skin, speaking in your name. You believe you have control over yourself, yet you are nothing more than a puppet dancing to the invisible strings of fear, shame, and the need for approval. The illusion of control is the last refuge of the weak. Those who prefer to live in a lie of command rather than face the chaos of truth, that nothing, absolutely nothing, has ever been under your dominion. The ego is the greatest liar you have ever known. It dresses itself as a hero, yet acts like a villain, pretends courage, yet lives in flight, proclaims freedom, yet loves chaining itself to the same beliefs that keep it safe, predictable, and above all, obedient. How many times have you acted on impulse and later invented reasons to justify what you scarcely understood? How many times have you made a decision believing it was free, without realizing it had been written decades ago, in dark rooms where no one dared speak loudly? Your mind is not your prison. It is a cell in which you locked yourself, convinced it was built by your own will. And then comes the question you fear most. If all of this is false, what remains? What lies beyond the veil of manufactured consciousness, beyond the character you perform every day? It is there in the darkness before birth and after death that something true may arise, something needing no names, titles, or explanations. But to find it, you must dismantle every pillar of this carefully constructed identity, tear through every layer of the false narrative, and confront, face to face, the abyss you always knew existed but never had the courage to gaze upon. For only in confrontation with what you deny can something new emerge, not as redemption, but as rebirth. So now, seated before yourself, before the screen that reflects far more than you imagine, the only choice left is this. Continue pretending you know who you are, or allow yourself to doubt. Because truth, my friend, is neither beautiful nor cruel. It simply is. And whoever seeks it must abandon everything, even oneself. There is a moment, quiet and almost imperceptible, when the mask slips, not violently, not with drama, but with a slow, silent unraveling, like dust falling from an ancient sculpture that once seemed eternal. You do not notice it at first. Perhaps it is in the middle of a conversation you have had 1,000 times before, or while looking at your reflection after waking. Still caught between dream and reality, something flickers. A question without words rises from somewhere deep within, unformed yet urgent. Who are you beyond this performance? Beyond the roles, the expectations of rehearsed smiles and defensive postures? The self you believe to be real is merely the echo of choices made in fear, shaped by forces you never questioned and wounds you never dared name. You wear identity like armor, believing it protects you, unaware that it imprisons. Every label you cling to, success, failure, victim, survivor, is nothing more than a thread woven into the fabric of your illusion. These titles were given to you long before you could understand their weight. They were whispered into your ears by parents who did not know themselves, by teachers who mistook obedience for wisdom, by lovers who saw only what they wanted to see. And you believed them. You internalized their gaze until it became your own. But tell me, was it ever truly yours? Or have you been living someone else's story, reciting lines written by hands far older than your own? The ego is not your enemy. It is your greatest ally in the game of deception. It thrives on certainty, clings to control, builds its fragile empire upon the shifting sands of memory and projection. It tells you that you're the author of your life, that you choose your path freely, that you are the captain steering through stormy seas. But look deeper. Look past the surface where logic resides and into the shadows where instinct rules. How many decisions have you made thinking yourself free, only to realize later they were already decided for you? How often has desire masqueraded as choice, when in truth it was only reaction? The illusion of autonomy is the sweetest lie we tell ourselves, because to admit otherwise would mean confronting the abyss of our own unknowing. And yet, there is power in that abyss. There is freedom in the unraveling. For when the mask begins to crack, something stirs beneath. Not a new self, not a better version, not some idealized image crafted by motivational slogans or spiritual platitudes. No, what emerges is raw, untamed, nameless. It does not seek validation, nor does it crave approval. It exists outside of narrative, beyond the need for justification. It simply is. But reaching it requires descent. It demands that you walk willingly into the darkness of your own history, into the pain you buried, into the truths you silenced. For only when you stop running from what you fear most can you begin to touch what is real. Do you remember the first time you felt unworthy? Not because anyone said aloud, but because you felt it in the silence between words, in the way eyes looked away, in the absence of warmth when you needed it most. That moment, perhaps fleeting, perhaps years in the making, became the seed of everything that followed. From it grew patterns, defenses, beliefs that shaped the person you now call I. But that child, trembling in the corner of memory, is still alive inside you. He watches every interaction, fears every rejection, flinches at every criticism, even when it comes disguised as advice. She speaks through your insecurities, hides behind your achievements, trembles beneath your bravado. To heal is not to erase her. No, she must be seen, heard, held. Only then can the cycle break. Control is the god of modern man. We worship it in meetings and meditation apps, in planners and affirmations, in carefully curated lives that scream stability but whisper desperation. We build walls around our hearts and call it self-care. We schedule spontaneity and call it freedom. We plan for every possibility and call it wisdom. But control is not strength. It is fear dressed in discipline. True strength lies in surrender, in allowing chaos to exist alongside order, in embracing uncertainty rather than fleeing from it. The man who believes he controls his destiny is the same one who will spend his final breath trying to hold on to what was never his to begin with. You are not the trauma you carry, though it has shaped you. You are not the failures you recount, though they have marked you. You are not the voice in your head that whispers you are not enough, though it has spoken louder than any other. But you have allowed these things to define you. You have let them become the architecture of your being. And so, you live half-formed, incomplete, always chasing something just out of reach. Love, success, peace, believing that if you reach it, the emptiness will finally subside. But what if the emptiness is not a flaw to be fixed, but a doorway to be entered? What if the void is not something to fill, but something to fall into? To fall is terrifying. It means letting go of all you thought you knew. It means facing the parts of yourself you have condemned, the memories you have repressed, the desires you have denied. It means standing alone in the center of your own being, stripped of pretense, untouched by applause or condemnation. It means staring into the mirror and seeing not the face you recognize, but the soul that lies beneath, wild, unshaped, infinite. And in that gaze, something shifts, not suddenly, not dramatically, but with the quiet finality of a door closing on a life left behind. What remains is not salvation, nor enlightenment, nor some transcendent state beyond suffering. What remains is presence, raw, unfiltered, unapologetic. The kind of presence that does not require explanations nor seek permission. The kind of presence that walks through fire and does not burn. Because when you stop pretending to know who you are, when you stop clinging to the illusion of control, when you stop hiding behind the mask of identity, something true begins to breathe. Not perfect, not whole, but honest. And in that honesty, there is a power no one can take from you, because it was never borrowed, it was never learned, it was never given, it was always yours. So ask yourself again, not with a mind that seeks answers, but with a heart that dares to feel. Who are you when no one is watching? When the scripts fall away? When the masks slip and the lights go out? Do you run from the silence, or do you lean into it? Do you fear the unknown, or do you welcome it? Do you shrink from the abyss, or do you step forward, knowing that what awaits you may not be comfort, but truth? Because the truth, my friend, does not care for your comfort. It does not bow to your expectations. It does not soften its edges to fit inside your neatly constructed world. Truth is jagged. Truth is wild. Truth is the blade that cuts through every illusion, leaving only what cannot be destroyed. And if you dare to meet it, if you dare to stand before it without flinching, then perhaps, just perhaps, you'll find not who you think you are, but who you have always been. And so, at the end of this journey, which was never mine but yours, only silence remains. A silence not empty, but full of all you have chosen to ignore for so long. A silence that does not speak in words, but in deep echoes, in those questions now burning within you like embers beneath cold ash. Who are you when no one sees you? And more importantly, who could you become if you stop running from yourself? Truth does not shout. It whispers. It waits. It dwells in the moments you try to fill with distractions, occupations, explanations that increasingly sound like lies dressed as reason. But it is there, deep in your chest, where unnamed pain still pulses, in the curve of your breath, when it hesitates before a decision that seems simple yet carries the weight of decades, in the way your eyes meet the mirror's gaze and, for a fleeting instant, almost recognize someone who was there long before you learned how to pretend. All that you have built, your identity, your values, your certainties, is not a lie because it exists. It is a lie because it has been taken as whole. You are far more than the forms you have taken to survive. You are what has no name, what cannot be defined, what refuses to bow to labels or ready-made narratives. You are the abyss and the leap, the fear and the courage, the chaos and the creation. And only when you accept that you do not know who you are, that you never truly did, can something new arise, not as an answer, but as rebirth. So I leave you with this. You do not need to find your place in the world. You are the world as it finds you. And if these words touch something within you, something ancient, forgotten, perhaps even sleeping, then do not let them pass in vain. This video does not end here. It ends when you decide to do something with what you have felt, with what has awakened, with the question that will not let you sleep. If this moment has moved you, if it echoes inside you like a call you cannot ignore, then click the heart. Leave your mark. Tell the universe you are here, that you are listening, that you are beginning to awaken. Share this with someone who may need to hear it, but has not yet found the words. And subscribe, not out of habit, not on impulse, but because you understand now, this journey does not end with video. It begins with you. Now, in this single moment where everything can change, because you are not who you think you are, and that changes everything.